Give me just a second to get set up here, and then we will get going. I take my iPad into the barn every day, and it gets a little dusty. So usually I have to clean it off so that it looks okay. And we are good to go. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. If you are new, this is the rapid fire Q&A. Sundays we do a community setting. I read all of the comments, but tonight we will only be taking questions to help you on your journey. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you can, put a couple question marks or explanation points at the beginning and or at the end of your comment so that I can see that a little bit better, but that's all we'll be reading tonight. But I appreciate all of you being here, so thank you very much. A couple of announcements. I will not be here next week for Sunday or Monday. Both of those will be canceled. I do have some good videos coming out for you, so I'm very excited about that, but I won't be doing the lives as I will actually be on vacation, family vacation. So I'll be out of town for that, but we've got some really good videos. I just posted one today. Hopefully you saw it. It's best practices for the brooder. We've got an electrolytes video, when and what to use. We've got reasons for chick fatality, troubleshooting incubators. We've got a installing water video that we'll be posting next, and then an electric fence video, and we're currently working on 2 more. So I've got a lot of videos coming your way. And I am getting caught up with egg orders as far as the standard size part of the barn. You know, all the fun colors. Those are getting caught up. I've got about 3 to 4 weeks out on golds, and about 3 weeks out on fab fees, and 3 weeks out on something else, SSCs. Everything else is almost caught up. So after I get back from vacation, that next week, I should be getting all those orders out, finishing up, and then we'll be on like a couple day wait list for those. The jumbos are just out of control. Any jumbo is about 6 weeks out right now, except for the jumbo wilds, which is pushing close to 14 weeks. I do have I've got 400 grow outs in the barn, and 200 in the 200 in the brooder, and 400 in the incubator. So I'm working on increasing our numbers, but yeah, I'm just giving up on that. So, but that is some good news. So let's just be positive about it. And then usually I don't do announcements tonight, but because I won't be here next week, I just wanted to let you guys know. We are less than 300 away from hitting 40,000 subscribers, so I'm going to be doing quite a bit of really important, valuable information videos to try to hit that 40,000 mark. I'm really excited about that. I'd love to hit it before we go on vacation, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. But if you find a video that you really, really like, that's really helped you, share the video, get it out there, spread the word, because I'd love to get to that 40 and help even more people. So that'd be super cool. In case you just joined, I saw that we just had a huge spike in watchers. If you have any questions about your journey with Coturnix quail tonight, whether it's quail for profit or quail colors or raising quail or feeding quail or quail, any questions about Coturnix quail or any of the videos that we've done, feel free to comment below, ask the question. Make sure you put a couple question marks or explanation points so that I can see it a little bit better, because tonight is supposed to be rapid fire. I know I've wasted 4 minutes of your time already, but it's supposed to be rapid fire, and I'll only be reading the questions tonight, and that helps me cipher through, because a lot of you guys talk to each other, which is fine, but it's easier for me. And I think that is, one last thing. The 18 and under contest, I'm actually going to be redoing that video, as there's a bunch of more people that have added to the contest. Flew the Coop Farms is adding 100 pounds of starter grower feed, which is very kind. Jesse Mills is donating a Govee each month to the winner. And then Witch Doctor is donating, I don't really know how you pronounce it, but it's like a electronic business card. So you just tap a phone and the contact information shows up, which is really cool. And it's a little high tech for me, but for the younger generation, I think that that might all cultivate together, which is super, super cool. So I'm really excited about that. And I have been all over the place today. You ever have one of those days where it's like you have to start working real hard because you got to get this stuff done and you're just not on your A game? It was today. But we did get a lot more done than a normal Monday, so that's pretty exciting. It's just I felt always behind. So I got to get in the mindset tomorrow because we got a busy week, especially since I'm going out of town. So I think that is, I didn't even say it. So the 1800 contest is usually announced the first Sunday of every month, which is next Sunday. However, I'm going to be out of town, so it'll be the second Sunday I announce the winner. But we'll still do it this month. It'll just be a week later. That is all of my announcements. Let's get started. Again, welcome everybody. I feel a little guilty not responding to everybody that's here, but thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it, but it's supposed to be rapid fire. I have to just keep my focus. And I don't know if I even see any questions. A lot of you guys are here. That's super cool. Welcome. Here's one from Nate Bryant. Says, Zach, what's the biggest quail hatching eggs that you have available and ready to ship? I don't have anything available to ship at this very moment. Everything's on, a couple weeks wait at least. Like I said, the jumbo whites are going to be the larger eggs that you would get the soonest, which is about 6 weeks. The jumbo wilds are obviously the biggest eggs and meat. But they're about 13, 14 weeks out. As far as the color side of the barn, they're all fairly close. What comes to mind is Egyptian fees, pearls, and sparklies would be at the upper echelon, but they're not going to be jumbo eggs. It's not a great answer, so I'm sorry. Let's see. Myshire Farm says, question, if I ordered pansy feed, jumbo wild, and fab feed, will I end up with the mixed colors or the colors I wanted? What percentage might be different? If you ordered, I don't really know what you mean. If you wouldn't get mixed, you would get, like if you ordered a 25 count of each, you would get 25 pansy feed, 25 fab feed, and 25 wilds. I think that answered your question. If it didn't, please respond so that I can answer it better for you. I mean, out of those three, the jumbo wilds are the only ones that hatched 100% true. The fab fees are pretty close at about 90 now. 90%. The pansy fees are around 83, 85%. But for the majority, that's what you would get. Joyce says, when quail are molting, does it help to give them some starter in the food to help the feather growth? That is a fantastic question, and I actually have a video coming out just about that. Electrolytes are best to put in the water when they are molting, and we will talk about that more in that video. I'll be posting, I think it is already updated, so that means the next video is the water, and then the video after that will be the video just about that. But yeah, using electrolytes would be better. The problem with not even switching, but adding feed that's not their normal feed tends to actually stress them out a little bit more. So I wouldn't do that. It's a good thought and it makes sense. So it's logical, but it actually wouldn't help it probably would help the feather growth. It wouldn't help them from getting back on track, if that makes sense. Great question. That's a great question. Andrea says, any idea when the 2 new colors will be available? Well, I actually just got done talking to Jenna about that. And if it really depends on what happens in the week that I'm gone. Because anyone ordering from this coming up Saturday to the next Saturday, I won't be here, so none of those orders will go out. Those eggs are already dedicated to something else. So it really depends on how it goes. But if I'm still like a week out, I can get all those out that following week. If I'm caught up with everything, we'll switch the handling time on the website to let everybody know and put the new colors on the website then. But it's really hard to tell, because right now I think the website says like 4 to 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks for mixed colors. And that should go down to a week to 2 weeks, if not sooner, when I get back from vacation. If that's the case, there might be an influx of colors or an influx of orders. And in that case, I want to get those orders out to get people started on their journey. But if I have them, then yeah, we'll put them on the website then. I would have loved to put them on. I mean, the goal was to put them on the beginning of January, but we were so behind. I just did not feel comfortable adding new colors when people were waiting that long on eggs. I'd rather just use those for mixed orders and get those out as quickly as possible. So that was the problem with that. That's, again, another great question, and I just got to see how it goes in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I've got to take a week and really take care of my corporate accounts because I kind of put them on the back burner. Yeah, I got to get them taken care of. But that won't take me too long at all now. Let's see. I'm going to butcher the name, but I'm going to try it. Puzzle. Yep, can't say it. Sorry. Welcome. I have 5 quail in the same cage that are 62 days old. Okay. 3 of them have been laying eggs for 3 weeks, but 2 of them have neither crowed or laid eggs. Is this normal? So you're looking at 8 weeks. Yeah, give or take 8 weeks. It's a little odd that you haven't heard any crow, but they might not have crowed when you're around. That would be fine. I really wouldn't worry about anything until week 10, so you got about 14 more days before I would be concerned with anything, because they can start as early as 5 weeks, but they can take up to 10 weeks. It depends a lot of it on the environment. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. They're 8 weeks old, and you've been getting eggs. Yeah, you've been getting eggs since week 5. So it's not genetics. I'd give them a little bit more time, is what I would do. I'd also assume that they're males, but that's an assumption. Oh, the first Sunday of the month is June 5th. So I won't be late. Cool. Oh, right. Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. So never mind. Discard. Muji says, I've seen black quail being sold recently, but can't find any information on this variety. What is your knowledge on them? Okay. Well, this is my thought on them. To me, black quail are kind of like people selling Texas A&Ms, right? They're not Texas A&Ms, they're jumbo whites, but people know the name Texas A&M, so it's more attractive to sell that way. So that's one. 2, really the black quail is just Graufies, is what they are. There's different things. There is a black gene. George and I have discussed this fully. We've talked to some much more knowledgeable people than us. The black gene that was illegally imported here, I do believe has a lethal gene in it, but I don't know that for sure because I've never had it. But from the people that have had it, it makes perfect sense, and we kind of track that back and things like that. But I don't know that for sure. So I will never have the black quail here. But we do carry Growlfie, and I see that on Facebook a lot being sold as the black quail. So you can make your own really dark quail, and to do that, you can do it two different ways. You can breed Tibetan to Tibetan continuously. You just inbreed the crap out of them over and over and over and over, and that will create a very dark Tibetan, like almost a black Tibetan. An easier and more an easier and more long-term way to do it would be to breed the Growlfie to the darkest Tibetans you have, and that will also start producing very dark quail for you. That is my answer. Paula says, we have had a lot of rain and cloudy days. My egg production has dropped dramatically. Is this normal, or could I be having another issue? Unfortunately, I have to ask you another question, Paula. I'm sorry. So hopefully you're still on, but I think my dog just body slammed against the door. But Paula, are they getting supplemental light? Because they need about 16 to 18 hours of light a day. So if it's rainy or cloudy, it shouldn't affect anything because they're still getting that supplemental light. Or are they outside and they're just getting the sunlight? If that's the case, then that would be the issue. Mary says, are pansy feet considered standard size? They are standard size, yes. They're a good size, but they're standard. Kale says, I have a first-time order in for 100 Jumbo Wilds. Congratulations, good luck, and I promise I will get them out to you as soon as possible. Kathy says, hi, Zach. What is the oldest one can expect a quail to start laying eggs? Ours are 7 weeks, and we're only getting 1 egg a day out of 10 females. It can take, It can take up to 10 weeks. A couple things to look at is make sure that you have a good ratio, because if you have too many males in there, it's going to overstress the hens and they're not going to lay. So you want around a 5-to-1 ratio. That's what we recommend. Some people do 6-to-1, some people do 4-to-1. Well, I mean, some people do 1-to-1, but yeah, 5-to-1 thereabouts is a good ratio. That will help making sure that they have 16 to 18 hours of light a day, and making sure that they have 3 quail per square foot, and that'll help a lot. But I wouldn't worry about it until at least 10 weeks old. It could take that long, but if those 3 things are correct, most likely you'll start seeing them within the week. But if there's something that you need to fix, like if they're not getting that supplemental light, it'll take about 2 weeks once you do that to start seeing the effects of that. Tom says, is there a big difference between Jumbo and Jumbo Wild? I'm assuming you meant the other types of Jumbo. So like we have Jumbo Wilds, which are the biggest and the largest meat and eggs. Then we have Jumbo Whites, Jumbo Egyptians, Jumbo White Wings, Jumbo Sex Links, and then we've got a Jumbo Mix that includes them all. There's not a big difference, no. There is a difference, so I'm not going to have the exact numbers because I think that I'm at the age where like my brain is just full and it can't take any new information. So anything new I learn, I have to let go of something. So I really used to, I'd be able to just spit off the exact numbers for you. And now I can't, but I can give you averages. So with that being said, the Jumbo Wilds average about 14 ounces, 13 and a half to 14 ounces at 10 weeks old. A very nice size. The Jumbo Whites are averaging about 12 and a half to 13 at 10 weeks. So a little bit of a difference, but again, it's just 1 ounce. and they clean up better, so that's nice. The egg size between the two are almost identical now. We've really been working on those a lot. So the whites are almost no difference at all. The Egyptians are going to be a little bit smaller. You're probably talking about 2 to 2.5 ounces difference, and they will be a little bit of smaller egg. And then the jumbo sex links, little bit closer than the jumbo Egyptians, but kind of in that category. And the jumbo white wings. So, okay, let me explain it this way. I'm so sorry. I probably confused everybody. So jumbo wilds are just top of the line, right? Then you've got the jumbo whites, and then you've got the jumbo white wings, and then you've got the jumbo sex links, and then you've got the jumbo Egyptians. And then, okay, so I'm gonna move this one. This is where the jumbo Egyptians are. And then this is kind of about there is where the standards start. That might not have helped anybody at all. That's what I had on the top of my head, sorry. Oh, we did get a donation. Thank you very much, Debbie at She Shed Homestead. Thank you very much for the $10 donation. All donations are actually going to Quail Con. If you don't know what that is, you need to find out. Don't miss it. It's going to be awesome. It's September 3rd and 4th of this year here at Myshire Farm. We had 400 tickets on sale. We are selling them at a rapid pace, which is very nice. And it's still in September. We're going to have amazing speakers. We're going to have a feed expert here, the PhD doctor that actually makes and customized our feed is going to be speaking. We've got Npip here that's going to be talking about avian influenza and keeping your flock and covey safe, and biosecurity and what Npip is. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have Dale from Dale's Quails be here talking about how to build your own brooders and cages. We're going to have Whiskey Tango Farms here talking about genetics. George, which is my right hand, is going to be talking about breeding program. Verna Young, which is the moderator on here and admin on Facebook groups, leader in the community, she's going to be talking about the basics of Coturnix quail. We've got Chris from Slightly Redneck that's going to be here talking about self-sufficiency. We're going to have experts here with booths on Saturday talking about quail for profit, bees. We're going to be talking about goats, different things to start with your homestead. And you can ask questions with. We're going to have vendors and raffles and games and food trucks and a dinner. And I mean, it's going to be really cool. We're going to do farm tours. We're going to do quail barn tours. I will be speaking. So I'm sorry. I promise you, I really try to find somebody else with no avail. I'm still working on it. So I will try to get somebody better than me, but you might be stuck with me talking as well, but I will do my very best to help as well. So we've got a lot of stuff going on, so make sure you check that out. It is on our website at myshirefarm.com. There's a tab that says Quail Con 2022. And I really do think it's going to be really, really good. So I hope you all can make it. And currently, we have 31 states representing. I thought we had our 32nd today, but that state had already been marked. So, but I'm just happy that they're coming as well. So, it's going to be really, really cool. I don't know how I got onto that, but the donation. Thank you very much for your generosity. Bags of Love says, is it okay to move the 2.5-week-olds to grow out cages, or should I wait for 3 weeks? It's pretty hot here in North Carolina. North Carolina, I think you'd be okay. I mean, I think the rule of thumb would be 3. You're in a hotter climate. I think you would be fine. Here's some advice that I would give you. This is what I would do. I would move half of them now at 2.5, leave the other half in the brooder, and see if you see any difference in a week. So if they're still growing outside at a good pace, and you don't pick one up from the brooder and one up from the outside cage and go, wow, these brooders are twice as big. If they're similar, then spring, summer, fall, you can move them out at 2.5 weeks. If you see a difference, then going forward, you really should wait till 3. I know it's an experiment, but I think that would help you in the long run with raising your quail, because you might be able to, I wouldn't be able to get away with it here, but we're a little bit, we're in Ohio, you're in North Carolina, so the climate's a little bit different. I would assume you would be fine. I think you would be fine. But I would just play that off now, because I don't think they're going to die. I'm a little worried about the growth and things like that. But in a week, if you see no difference at all, then for the rest of the year until winter, you know that you can move them out earlier. It's a good question. Okay, again, everybody that's here, welcome. I'm very happy that you're all here. Tonight is supposed to be rapid fire. I feel like I'm talking a little bit more than what I should, but I'm only answering the questions tonight, or I'm only reading the questions tonight. So if you have any questions, comment below and put some question marks or exclamation points at the beginning and or end of your question so I can see them. But everybody else that's here, you're more than welcome to comment. I'm glad you're all here. I'm just not going to read those tonight, as I'm supposed to be going as fast as possible. KL says, my question is, are the Jumbo Wilds a good choice for a newbie? Yeah, Jumbo Wilds are great. I mean, they're top of the line. I keep kicking this. I'm so sorry. They're top of the line, absolutely. Here's the thing, though. Jumbo Wilds, I guess it really depends on what you're looking for. I think that, especially with new people, and even with some that's been in the business for a long time or been raising quail for a long time, it's very attractive to have a very large quail, right? The biggest of the biggest, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. The more, I don't know how to say this without, the longer I'm in this, the longer I raise quail, I really like the consistency of production with the standard sizes, because if I was just raising them for myself, I really wouldn't worry about the, I wouldn't want an 8-ounce quail, but I'd be okay with a 10 and a half, 11-ounce quail that's going to be much more productive in egg laying for me. Is my thought on it. But on the same token, the Jumbo Wilds will forever be top of the line. They're just going to be the best of the best. But that doesn't mean that there's a purpose for all of them. If you're looking for really good egg production, you really don't want to go with any jumbo. They're going to be larger, and the larger the quail, the less productive they'll be. But if you're looking for biggest, you're going with jumbos every time. So there's different things to think about. That's my thought. James says, when growing out for meat and eggs, why choose colors? I don't know if I understand the question. When growing out for meat and eggs, why choose colors? Well, if you're raising them just for you and your family, then yeah, you should probably do the jumbo. Absolutely. If you're raising them to try to sell some, then I wouldn't say to go with jumbo. I would say to go with colors, because they're going to be more productive for you. You're going to get more eggs a year out of them. And again, this, like the pansy fees are close to 10 ounces. They're like, we're going to say 9.5, but I think they're a little bit bigger than that. Whereas the jumbo Egyptian's 11. Anything over 10 ounces consistently is considered a jumbo. So they're almost at that mark, but they would be at the very low end of that mark. But they produce, I think, close to 30, 40 more eggs a year than any of the jumbos do. So again, it just kind of depends on what you're doing with that. I don't know if that was your question. If it wasn't, please re-ask it and I'll try to answer that. But Chris A says, how much success have you had treating splay leg and newly hatched chicks? Is it worth treating? We actually have not had one in years. I want to say 3, maybe not 3. I don't remember the last time we've had an issue with splay leg. But when we did have splay leg, we didn't treat it, we called it. But we've got a market for frozen chicks here for reptile owners. So yeah, any deformities that we saw, splay leg or wry neck or anything like that, but we haven't had any of those in a long time. Usually splay leg is it's an environmental issue. It's usually due to the flooring that they're on. They come out very, very weak, and their bones are very brittle. So if they're on what we might not think is a slippery surface, but if they can't grab a hold of it, their legs go straight out. And if their legs go straight out for like 10, 12 minutes once they're hatched, then that's how they stay. Now, you can treat it. It is treatable, especially within the first few days. You put it in a shot glass for 40 minutes. You put them, wrap a rubber band around them for about a day. Less than that, I mean an hour wouldn't be that big of a deal. You put them back together and then they're good to go. So it is treatable. We just never did. But it's not genetic. So I mean, if you can treat it and you've got time to treat it, then absolutely, I would treat it, and they're still going to be productive for you. Mary says, the percent of quail that doesn't hatch true, for instance, pansy feed, will they have recessive feed? Yes, they will. And you did ask that correctly. Yes, they will have recessive feed gene. Good job. Let's see. Christian says, for how long do you breed for male and female? For how long do you breed for males and female? Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I think I understood the question correctly. So what we don't really do what we recommend in this instance. So let me explain that. So male fertility usually starts dropping at about 9 months old. They can last for about a year, but fertility starts to drop off at about 9 months because they're just so active during that time that they kind of run out of steam, if you will. So we recommend at about 9 months you switch your males out so that you can still have a good fertility rate. Now, because we ship so many eggs, and the way we look at it is it's a business setting here, and so these are not our quail. These are your quail, and we're just taking care of them for you, right? So with that being said, we switch our males out every 6 months so that there's no issues at all. Sorry, I read something I shouldn't have. So 9 months is what we recommend. We actually do 6 just because we ship so many eggs. And then the hens are good for around 2 years, give or take. They're all a little bit different, but 2 years is a good average. And then you switch the hens out at 2 years. Now, we switch ours out once a year, but that's because of our breeding program. We do something very different than almost anyone else. We don't like a lot of inbreeding here. We want things to be different, which is why somebody asked a little bit earlier, where is it? I don't see it now, but I know it was on there. I must have passed it. About if the pansy feed doesn't breed 100% true. It could, but not with my breeding program. I don't want it to breed 100% true because that means I have to breed them together over and over, and I don't like that. If I was doing it just for me and my family, then I would. But I don't want the people who purchase eggs from us have to worry about that. So we don't do it so that if you want to breed them true, then you can breed them true like that. If you don't want to breed them true and you want to put them together, it's not a big deal. If you want to breed them back and forth over and over, it's not a big deal because they haven't been inbred. So again, we do things just a little bit different here. But what we recommend is switching your males out at 9 months, switching your hens out at 2 years. What we actually do, because we're a little bit different, is we switch our males out every 6 months, so twice a year, and all of our hens out once a year. I might have confused you more. I feel like I might be over-explaining a little bit. Our Mojo 23 says, for egg rollout, what is the angle you want at the cage? I think it's 1 inch per foot. Why can I never remember this? I'm almost positive it's 1 inch per foot. But somebody on here, please confirm that. Every time. That question, every time I get confused on. I have no idea why. We just redid all the cages. Like, I'm pretty sure it's 1 inch per foot. Let's see, Paula says sunlight only. Okay, so that would be the issue. You need to add, even Christmas lights will do. Just put some Christmas lights around the cage and then set them on, a timer for 16 to 18 hours a day. And all of them should start laying within about 2 weeks, and you should be full productivity and good to go. And yeah, the cloudiness did definitely affect it. Corey says, how old do jumbo whites need to be to figure out male from female? As early as 6 weeks, but there's a little asterisk next to that. The reason I say that is if you're brand new to quail, you have to vinsex those. And they are, for sure, I read something again. I gotta stop reading. I'm sorry. They are for sure able to be vinsexed at 6 weeks old. However, when I started, it took me almost a year to figure it out. So I actually had to start vinsexing at 8 weeks and move myself down to 6 weeks. Now I can actually vinsex them at about 5. So I'm pretty proud of myself with that. I don't think I've tried my best to get it to 4.5 weeks, and I can't do it. But I can do it at 5 weeks, and I think I've only been wrong twice, but I've done close to 1,000. But I've been wrong twice. So I say that I'm pretty good at it. So you can do it at 6, but if you're brand new to this, I would recommend maybe doing it at about 8 or even 7 weeks, just to be certain. And then the next time you do it, you can move that down about a half a week and then get yourself down to that 6-week mark. Hopefully that makes sense. Debbie at She Shed Homestead donated $10 to Quail Con. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. There was something I wanted to say real quick, but I don't remember what it is. Rapid fire. I'm going to keep going. Other than dry quail food, what else do quail eat? They'll pretty much eat anything that you put in front of them. Yeah. Fly larvae, fruits and veggies from the garden, fodder. They're not picky. They just like to eat. Thomas says, what wattage heat bulb do you recommend for brooding chicks? I have a 150 watt, so just double checking since I'm putting 50 eggs in incubator Wednesday night. So that would be fine. We just did a video about the brooding process today. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I would definitely check that out. But one thing we've actually switched this year and has worked out extremely well for us is, I don't have it in here. I do not. But we actually start with a higher watt bulb for the first week. And then we go down to a 125. So we do the, what is it? The 250 watt. We do the 250 watt bulb for the first week, move it down to a 125 watt bulb the second week, and then they're off lights the third week. So a 150 would work. You just, that second week, you got to make sure that they aren't overheating. Jennifer says you have special feed made for your quail. We do. We wouldn't if we were just raising for ourselves. It's really not necessary. They'll do just fine on a all-purpose layer feed, general flock feed, chicken layer feed, whatever the case may be. They do just fine. But because we went more of a business side and we're shipping so many eggs and live quail, and we've got this and we've got that, and it's more of a business now, I did want to give them the best thing out there. I mean, the 3 most important aspects about raising Coturnix quail long term would be genetics, feed, and environment. So I mentioned this earlier. that we don't really consider these our quail. They're our customers' quail that we just take care of until they're ready for them. So we really do go above and beyond what we would do and what we would even recommend. Like, I wouldn't recommend you customizing the feed. It's really, you're going to get a little bit more production out of it, but we're also at a very large scale. So if you're not buying 5 to 6 pallets a week or 5 to 6 pallets a month, which is what we do, then it wouldn't, the extra production would not even be worth it to you because you'd be paying so much more in feed. But yes, we do special blend our layer feed. Scooby Healer says, what's the difference between a jumbo wild and a meat bird? It's the same thing. They're synonymous with each other. Usually when people say meat bird, they usually mean it's a jumbo of some sort. So jumbo wild, jumbo white. You know, I don't know of anybody else that sells jumbo sex links or jumbo Egyptians or jumbo white wings. There might. I don't know. I'm sure there is. I'm sure somebody else is selling them. I don't know who. Patricia says, my quail are 10 days old. Will the roosters crow at this age? Only one is making any noise that I can tell. 10 days old? No, they don't crow until they're at least 3 weeks old. You might have a noisy one, and most likely that one will turn out to be a boy. But no, that's not normal. I mean, it happens. It's not like, that one's not crazy. It's just kind of the alpha of the group. Van says, I ordered jumbo wild eggs 6 weeks ago. Any update on those? Yeah, we got about 7 more weeks on it then. Yeah, jumbo wilds are about 12 to 13 weeks out. Jennifer says, if they're jumbo wild, yeah, you said wilds. Jennifer says, you have a special feed made for your quail, so if I get eggs from you, will my quail grow like yours? For the most part, yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, the feed helps, but we've put out plenty of videos on, how do I word this? Yes. Well, let me back up. Yes, because we don't specialize our starter grower feed, which is what we use until they're stopped growing, till they're fully mature. We just use a pheasant starter. It's not specially blend for us. We only use a special feed for our layers to be a little bit more productive and last a little bit longer. But with our starter grower, we just use a high protein pheasant starter. You can use turkey starter. We did that for years. Broiler starter. I mean, you know, any starter that's high protein will do the trick. But yeah, absolutely. Again, everybody that's here, welcome. I hate not answering all the comments or reading all the comments, but it's supposed to be rapid fire, so I'm only reading questions tonight. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. So does a shipper have to display his Npip sticker on his packages? No, you don't have to. We do, but you don't have to. Fox in the Coop says, I have 2 birds on antibiotics. I know not to eat the eggs, but is there a withdrawal period for hatching those eggs? For hatching them, I don't believe so, no. Eating them, yes, but I don't think there is for hatching. How do I find out if the shipper is really Npip certified? You can actually look anybody that's Npip up. You just go to their website. Npip, well, I think it's actually National Poultry Improvement Plan.com. I did a video about it, and I gave you the website in that video. You can just put in Npip by Myshire Farm. Anyways, on that website, you can actually look up anybody that's Npip, and if they are, they'll be on the registry. Or you can contact the seller and just ask them for the number. I don't know the number. That's not my department. My wife does all that, so I would actually direct you to her. But I'm always here when we get tested, so I know we're Npip. I just don't know the number. I always forget it. The older I get, the numbers are worse for me. I don't know what BSF is. Sorry. James says the answer was fine. Yes to family only. Maybe once freezer is full, then I might try colors. Thank you. Not a problem. Yeah, and if you're just raising them for meat and eggs, again, the meat is nice for the jumbos. Egg production would be nice for the standards. So it's just I don't think you can go wrong with either one. So I'm not trying to confuse you, and I'm not saying jumbos are not the way to go. I'm just saying there's benefits to both. They have infections on their feet from cuts that are healing wonderfully. For those curious about why they are taking antibiotics, I assumed for Bumblefoot, but thanks for sharing that. Don says, why do my males walk back and forth along the wall for long periods of time? I don't know. That's just what they do. They're very active. They just like to pace. My emus do that too. They just pace back and forth all day. I don't feel like they would get tired, but they don't. At what age do the males begin to crow, or whatever their sound is called? It could be as early as, well, that's not, it could, well, normally it's about 5 to 6 weeks old. We have started, there's one color that is actually starting to crow at 3 weeks, and then we started breeding for that, and now I decided I don't think I want to breed for that anymore. I think that's maturing them a little too soon, and I don't think I'm going to like the long-term results. So we're going to stop that and put them back at the 5 to 6 week mark. So I'm going to say 5 to 6 weeks is when you'll start hearing crows. Consistently. Katrina says, Zach, angle for egg rollout is in your cage rebuild video. Yeah, I should probably just write that down and just put it on a sticky note right there. It is on there, yeah. There's a video we did, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, and it was a cage rebuild. And I made sure that George put it in the video, but I still can't remember. Gregory says slope for cages is 1 inch per foot. 3 inches are 1/4 inch per foot. Yes. Yeah. 1 inch per foot. I'm gonna memorize that. Got it right there. I let something else go. Jason says, if I was going to move my 7-week jumbo wilds into cage with adult breeders, established breeders would either have to switch to starter for next 3 weeks or chicks switch to breeder formula. If you put them in with your existing breeders, yes. In my opinion, if you do that, then they would just need to go to the layer formula, and just get off the starter 3 weeks early. They'll still make weight, but it'll probably take them to about week 14 to gain the rest of that extra weight. So it'll just take a little bit longer. So it won't hurt anything. It'll just make things a little bit longer for them to gain that weight. But the genetics are there, or should be there. So if they're a good size now, the genetics are there, which means if they're breeders, their babies are going to be good sizes, so I wouldn't really worry about it. So that's what I would do, unless you can keep them separate until they're 10 weeks old, and then, I mean, that would be ideal, because then you get them to maximum weight. But for your breeders, they really don't have to be maximum weight, as long as you know that the genetics are there, and their offspring is going to give you maximum weight. I hope that makes sense. If I'm confusing anyone tonight, because I just, for some reason, really feel like I'm doing that, please feel free to ask again or ask a follow-up. I'd be happy to do that. I just feel like I'm not making things clear tonight for some reason. Witch doctor's in the house. What causes crooked beak? We got one in this batch. Is it genetic? Is it gone to add to the gene pool? There is a little I think it could be either one. Usually, it seems to be a turning issue in the incubator. Just that specific spot didn't turn all the way. But it could be genetics. and I don't know the percentages on which one. You know, I don't know if it's a 50-50. I don't know if it's 75% turning and 25% genetic or vice versa. I don't know that. It could be one of the two. Rmojo23 says, do we really need to worry about inbreeding? We have 5 wilds and 5 Texas A&M whites with 1 male in each cage. We have hatched their eggs. How long do we need to add new blood? Well, they're not the same genes. It looks as though that they're in separate cages. Now, are you going to be putting them together? Because if you're going to be putting the wilds and the whites together, then, I mean, long time, 6 generations. Because you're already mixing the genes together. Now, if you're not, and you're keeping them separate, and their offspring separate as well, usually you want to add some new blood about every 3 generations, every 3 years is typically the rule of thumb. Michael says, is 26% protein enough for chicks? That's all I can get in this area. 26 would be okay. It's kind of on a little bit of the lower end, but it's fine. It's in the range, so you're good with that. So that wouldn't be a big deal at all. One thing I would recommend is checking out a turkey starter. Usually you can find those at about 28 to 30%, and they're typically a little bit cheaper. So look for a turkey starter. That might work great. But if 26% protein is all you can find, that's great. It's great. So that's not a big deal at all. Chris says, is there benefit having full spectrum light on chick brooders? No, there's not a benefit. I mean, it's not going to hurt or help at all for the brooders. So no benefit. Is there any reason to not use a ceramic bulb? No, I like the ceramic bulbs. We don't use them, but I don't think there's anything wrong with them. We just don't use them here. But yeah, I think they're nice. I think they're safe and safer, and yeah, there's no reason not to use it. It's a good question. Christmas lights for quail, are you referring to the miniature lights? Those would work fine. They're not really picky. As long as they have light, they're good to go. Oh yeah, black soldier fly. That was not the direction I was going. I thought it was something else. Yeah, wasn't thinking about that. Mary says, Christmas lights for quail, are you referring to the miniature lights? Yeah, those will work. Regular, I mean, preferably, you know, the clear or the white ones. You know, not the... Definitely don't do the strobe ones. That is not good for quail. But yeah, I mean, you can do whatever. I mean, you can do the you know, cheaper solar ones. You can do the expensive solar ones. You can do whatever lights you've got. You can do a spotlight. As long as they're getting light, they're good. They're really not picky. I wouldn't overthink that at all. So excited, my eggs are on my way. Awesome. Congratulations and good luck. And keep me posted. Anthony says, ordered 50 eggs, 37 hatched so far, going to give the last few one more day. Awesome, congratulations. If you're only going to give it one more day, what I would recommend, Anthony, hopefully you're still on, is increase your humidity about 5 to 7%, increase your temperature a half a degree, and then let it go for 24 more hours. But, I mean, you've got a great hatch rate so far, so congratulations. And make sure you update me with the final results, if they're mine. You didn't say you bought them for me. But I keep track of all the hatch rates that people give me. Oh, and here's a cool thing. So I just finished my phone before we got live. Like, I literally had 7 minutes to spare. And I had an email, and it said, hey, just want to let you know, ordered 25 pansy fee eggs, had 23 hatched. And I was like, oh, cool. I wrote it down. And then I had mentioned yesterday, I believe, that we had a couple huge orders out. And by huge, I mean they're real big orders. that really can change the numbers. You know, like a 25 count, it takes a lot of 25 counts to change that percentage number, just because we ship a lot of eggs. But every order counts. So I mean, please keep me posted. I don't care how many you order. But the first huge order got back with me, and they actually ordered a little over 4,000 eggs, and they had an 88% hatch rate, which means with that we just hit over 70% hatch rate on shipped eggs for the year. So I'm very excited about that. And the other two should be end of this week, beginning of next. I should hear back. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. I don't know if you guys cared about that, but that was something new in my life. Oh dear God. Was I supposed to drop that balut off today? Oh no. Hold please. Oh no, I think it's Thursday. Oh God, I hope it's Thursday. Where are you? There you are. It's 26th. It is Thursday. Everything's fine. No reason to panic. Glad you... Thanks. Thanks for reminding me of that. Tips about doing balutes from Mike Frost. Well, don't forget the day you're supposed to deliver them is my first advice to you. I did that recently. I forgot, and they hatched out. And they were not so happy. So this is them, and I thought that maybe I forgot again. I was like, oh dear God, but I didn't. So actually, I've got a balut video that we'll talk about a little bit, but I'm planning on doing a balut video on Thursday when I deliver them. I'm going to try to persuade one of them to talk to me when I drop it off. But I'm going to show you the process. So I forgot to do a short video on putting them in, but literally it's just collecting eggs and putting them in the incubator, which I'll mention in the video. But we'll take them out. I'll show you how I candle, what we carton, or how we carton them up, our process with that, how we box them up, how we deliver them. Hopefully I'll be able to talk to one of the buyers there. But I'll show, we'll go into how long they sit, if they go in the fridge or not, all that. That's a video that I'll be doing this week, so I'm excited for that video too. But for right now, I think the biggest advice that I can give you is candle, box up, and deliver same day. Do not refrigerate. And I'll be talking about that extensively. Holy crap, I am dirty as crap. Worked outside today. I forgot where I was. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, just don't refrigerate. Everything needs to be done the same day, but we'll be going in that. I'll be talking a lot about that in the video I'll be doing. So we'll see. Lee says, I have 5 thermometers, all read different. One is Govee, don't know what to trust. If you've got 5 different thermometers, I would assume that you've got a circulation issue. So you've got hot and cold spots. The first thing that I would do is actually put, that's what calibrate them all. You could, or take all the incubators, put them in one corner, and see if they're reading the same. If they are, then that means you've got hot and cold spots in your incubator, and you can work with that and fix it. But that's where I would start. And then, out of the 5, let's say 3 of them have the same temp and 2 of them don't, then I would take those 2 out, keep the 3 in, move that to the next section, and kind of narrow it down is what I would recommend. Dale's RC says, I ordered jumbo wilds on 4/29. When do you think I will get them? 4/29 would be 5, 6, 4/29, 7. Mid-July? Around mid-July? Disco in the aviary. You must not be talking Rmojo23 says, no, we are keeping them separate but looking to increasing our flock. Is it okay to breed the hatched babies with their sibling? Our eggs are 15 grams from the whites in the wilds. Yeah, you could do that. I would say about every 3 years, just add some new males or some new blood and you'll be fine. Absolutely. Variety choice. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's great, Anthony. So far you've done, I mean, even if that's all that hatches, you still did great. So good. Congratulations. G. Rubin says, at just about 2.5 weeks, half my chicks are much smaller, half the size than the others. Is this typical sex-based, or will they likely catch up? I would make sure that there's a couple things. Number one, the feed. If you're grinding the feed, stop grinding immediately. That would be one. If you're not grinding the feed, make sure it's a high protein. Yeah, and I mean, I guess it depends what's in there. If they're all the same, if they're all jumbos or something like that, then yeah, 2.5 weeks. They should be close. Definitely shouldn't be half the size, unless they hatched a little bit late, but you didn't mention that. The first thing is make sure that you have a high protein. Second is make sure you're not grinding the feed. Would be what I'd start with. Larson Farm says, my quail always try and fly out. It's hard to even open the door. Yeah, they can get a little flighty for sure. They can get a little flighty. The video we just did today showed that we had 2 separate doors so we can manage a little bit better for the brooders. But I did give some advice to someone not too long ago, and they said that it helped a lot. Try to do something before you go in there. So I get the way I'm reading this is like it's an aviary that you're walking into. It might not be. I'm just reading it that way. So if that's the case, maybe like, body slam the door again. Turn on the lights, or turn on a fan, or feed some animals next to it, or something where they know that once that happens, then you're walking in. Like give them a little "here I come" before you actually do it, and that seemed to help a lot. I'm gonna guess that my questions are getting skipped for some weird. I've not meant to skip any questions. I don't see any of your questions. Is it unheard of to use a dimmer? Oh, I did not see that at all. I'm so sorry. Did not see that at all. I'm sorry, Steve. Stephen, is it unheard of to use a dimmer switch in a brooder to minimize bulb handling in the brooder? Once you get it down, it's not a horrible idea. It's a pretty good idea. I think it'll take some time for you to find out exactly where you need to be at all times. But I mean, you could even put little markers. Day 1, day 2, week 1, week 2, whatever the case may be. I don't think that's a horrible idea. I think that's pretty cool, pretty innovative. I like that idea. I think that could work. I'm looking to see if I skipped any more. I don't see any more. Sorry, I did not see that one at all. I apologize. Thanks for pointing that out. Now I have to not skip any more. Hold on. Mike Whaler, okay, I read that one. Read that. Okay, so today is day 16 in my incubator. My eggs haven't even wiggled. Should I be worried? No. they should probably, I mean, ideally they start pipping tonight, and then you get a good hatch tomorrow. If you haven't seen any progress by tomorrow, then increase your temperature by about a half a degree, and that should do the trick for you. The Emperor of Rome is in the house. If quail sit on eggs, is it okay to let them stay, or do they need to stay warm until they're ready to sit? That would be a good question for trying to think of who was on here. Oh, Katrina's on here. Yeah, Katrina's on here. Katrina, it has a YouTube channel that is called Sow and Tear. And she actually has an aviary setting, and she's had a lot of success with brooding with broody hens with quail. And I believe she even has a video or two about that, so you can check that out. But with my setup, they don't go broody. That would be awful if they started going broody for me. That'd be real bad. So I don't try to do that. But I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It just wouldn't work for me. But I don't have any experience with it, unfortunately. Mike Frost says, Myshire Farm. Thank you, Zach. Love all your videos. Where did you go? I don't know what happened, but you're gone. Oh, there you are. Sorry. Let's see. Love all your videos. Thank you very much. Mahalo from Hawaii. Stoked for the future Balut video. Thank you. I'll definitely get that done this week. I don't know if I'll post it until next, but I will get that video done. And then I'll answer a lot of Balut questions in there as well. Jason Mills says, is there a processing window of age to butcher quail before they get too tough like chickens do? We eat them when they're 6 months old, no issues. We eat them when they're a year old. They're a little bit tough, but not like chickens. But if we're butchering, like if we butcher for Quail Con, or we're butchering for whatever reason, July 4th party, or whatever the case may be, we butcher at 8 weeks. But we can easily butcher at 14, 15, 16 weeks, and there's absolutely no difference at all. AZ Highland Homestead says, for jumbos, what conformation details do you look for, and when 8 weeks, 250 gram males, 300? Actually, I have a playlist called the Jumbo Breeding Process, I think. The Jumbo Breeding Program. Something of that nature. Verna or Ed, if you could maybe put that link to that playlist in there. But the playlist is actually week by week detail of us weighing them week by week, what we're looking for when they go in the cages, and they're very short videos. They're like 3 to 4 minutes long, but it's a week by week update on how much they weigh, what the average weight is, when we take them out of the breeding program, things like that. So that should help a lot. And yeah, there should be standards for each week. And we talk about that in the playlist. The Emperor of Rome says it's just layer feed and corn scratch mix good to feed them. The layer feed would be sufficient. You wouldn't have to do corn scratch if you don't want to, but layer feed would be just fine. But you could if you wanted to. It doesn't matter. Salvador Santiago is in the house from Puerto Rico. Welcome, glad you're here. Jason is in the house. Thank you. I was thinking about butchering 1-year-old breeders. We do now. They are going to be a little bit tougher, but it's not that much, and we really don't mind it. We grill them out, put some good seasoning on there, and they're good to go. So we don't mind it. Michael says, no, it's a Nurturite 360. It's difficult to do. Oh, you're not talking to me. As bulb handling minimizes longevity. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think it could work. I think that you would have to work out all the details. I think that you'd want to, you know, get a thermometer and kind of test it to see what temperature it is with the dimmer without the chicks being in there. But once you get that worked out, I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. Kelly says, Jason, oh, you're not talking to me. Oh, well, Jason Mills, I did butcher a 1-year-old that was aggressive. It was fine baked. There you go. Stephen Fox says, quail cups per quail in the brooder ratio. We're still kind of working on that, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure. Right now, we've got 2 in each brooder. And my thought when we first started was I wanted 3 on each side, and he only did 2. And I said, okay, well, 4 should be enough. So he did half the barn he only put 1 side in, and there wasn't any issues. I mean, they were growing just fine. Their feathers were just fine. There was no aggression. There was no territorialism. They weren't fighting over the water. So as of right now, we've got 1 cup per 50 chicks. Makes me a little uncomfortable, but there's been no issues with it. So I would have preferred 4, and that's the plan for this fall, winter. Is to put the other side in. But they're doing fine now, and I think the other side is just going to make me feel better and not really a necessity, which is why we're kind of putting it off. But yeah. Johnny says, my order number is 64382, was placed on May 11th. Jumbo White Wing, Coturning Square 25, about what day? White Wings, you're probably looking at about 7 weeks, maybe 8 since the day you ordered. So May 11th, so 6 more weeks, give or take. Kelly says, oh, not talking to me. Dr. Connie says, I use a dimmer switch for the heat lamp. I like it. My brooder's outside in the sunroom. Current highs in low 90s, lows around 70. Very cool. That's a great idea. G. Ruman says, are there any foods that you should never feed to quail? Nothing citrus. That's about it. They'll eat anything else. They're kind of like pigs. They'll pretty much pick through and eat anything you give them, but nothing citrus. That's all I know of. Jasmine Bass is in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. You're not talking to me. Not talking to me. Let's see. Salvador says, Zach, I'm trying to purchase hatching eggs on your website. I cannot pay. Puerto Rico is not a state. How can I purchase hatching eggs on your website? I won't be able to answer that tonight. I actually have a meeting with a bunch of people on Wednesday of next week. Really should write that down, especially since I'll be out of town. So I got to take the conference call on vacation, but it is with Ohio State University, a couple other universities, Npip, USDA, bunch of people, and they're going to give us the lowdown. Right now, we can't ship to Puerto Rico because of the AI. It sounds as though, and I cannot confirm yet, sounds as though that's going to be lifted coming up on Wednesday, or at least a day that it's going to be lifted, but that has not been confirmed. That's just the rumor right now. But right now, I just can't do it until I get confirmation. But it looks like I'm going to get it on Wednesday, next Wednesday. Sorry, I can't give you more info now, but I should be able to let you know next time I go live. Jasmine says, what types of automation is best utilized for the average backyard quailer to help with the farm chores? Any good ideas to make the poo disappear magically? LOL. I mean, ours disappears kind of magically. We just push it into a big drain. But it's still a lot of work. Water. Actually, Jasmine, we're going to be posting a video I don't know what today is, Monday. So on Wednesday, about installing the most important thing on the farm, and that's going to save you the most amount of time. And that's a hydrant. So we dug up where the water was, and we put a line to the aviary because that's where our chickens, rabbits, and pigeons are going to go. And so we just put a hydrant inside the aviary. So 3 out of the 4 months they're going to be on automatic waters, and during winter when we can't do automatic waters because the line will freeze, at least it'll be in the aviary. But moving, hauling water back and forth is just, I mean, that's a time killer right there. So that's a big one. Another one that I'm actually doing is, so I don't know if you've been following the channel, but we're moving all of our animals around. So our goats are, next to the pond in an electric fence. We've got all of our female pigs in another electric fence we put together. We put our male pigs in the pasture where they're just roaming and eating all the grass and foraging. Our emus are up front. And then, like I said, the aviary is going to have the chickens and rabbits. We're going to track how much feed they eat in a month. And we're going to get one of those like 50-gallon barrels. And when I order feed, because I order feed once a month and they deliver it, because I get at least 5 to 6 pallets a month. When we order that, so if we go through 2 bags of emu feed, which is ratite. If we go through 2 bags of emu feed in a month, then we're literally just going to unload it and then put the 2 bags of feed in there, and then just, so literally we take the lid off, give them a scoop, put the lid on, and then there's no carrying bags, there's no where do the bags go, there's no putting the pallets down, so that's another time saver that we're starting here too. Emperor of Rome says, Zach, at Quail Con, will you be selling live quail or just like quail meat that I can buy and take home? I don't think we'll have any quail meat to purchase, mainly because we're pretty much feeding everybody the first night for that dinner. So I don't think I'll have extras to sell. Maybe. I don't know. But, yes, we will. I'm 95% sure that we got confirmation, but I have to get for sure confirmation on that next Wednesday's conference call. But, so this is not confirmed. As of right now, it looks as though that I will be able to have everything available, and I'll actually be able to start shipping live quail again soon, which is very exciting. But at Quail Con, we'll have chicks for sale, live breeder sets available, teen sets, ready to butcher males, new males for your, introducing new blood, hatching eggs. We'll have it all. It looks as though I have to get that confirmed, but that is definitely the direction we're going. And I've not heard that there's been any complications to our plan, our time frame. But I will get confirmation on that. But it looks as though that this conference call coming up is going to be the confirmation I need to actually put everything into place. Instead of just we'll talk next month. I think this is this is the deadline, this is what we're doing, this is when you can let loose kind of thing. So I think this is going to be a good call. I've not heard the parsley thing, and I don't. I know that Jenna's fed avocado to the quail before. This was years ago. I don't remember any dying, but I mean, maybe there was an issue. And I've never even thought about parsley. So there you go. Maybe no avocado and no parsley. Everyone's talking to each other, which is fine. I'm just trying to find them. There we go. Kelly says, Zach, We had feed in a barrel. Squirrels chewed through the lid and it got rained in. We put some in a timed deer feeder, and that works too. That's a cool idea. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting those. They're made for feeders. We're just not going to put one step at a time. We have an idea to make those into automatic feeders, but I just want to make sure it all works first. So there's going to be some experiments, but that's definitely the direction we're going. And that's not a bad idea either. So thank you for sharing. Louis says, my Celadon eggs are pipping, my first hatching. Awesome. Congratulations and good luck. I sold some breeders that day, and the quail were going to be traveling a couple hours, so I used your zucchini technique in the boxes for hydration, and they were so happy and chill. Yeah, congratulations, and yeah, they love it. They're getting nutrients out of it, they're getting their hydration out of it, and it actually makes them not as hot. You know, it's kind of chilling them out. So yeah, cucumber is perfect. Zucchini cucumber is perfect for shipping quail or traveling with quail or whatever. Probably means I should probably start bulking up on that for Quail Con. Looks like that's all the questions tonight. We do have quite a bit more people than when we first started. So real quick, if you have any more questions, I will not be here for the next 2 lives, Sunday and Monday. I'll be out of town, and then we'll be back that following Sunday. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask now. I do have a huge, and I mean massive, to-do list this week because I've got endless amounts of projects that just need to be finished. It drives me crazy because we've got like 18 different projects, and 16 of them are like almost done, but they're not, and I like to mark it off my to-do list, and I can't because they're not completely done yet. So we got a lot of stuff to get done this week, so it will take me about 2 to 3 days to get back with you on text messages and emails, but I will get everything caught up before I go to town, I promise. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask real quick before I get off. We do have some really good videos. Like I said, I want to get that Balut video done this week. Again, that's another thing that's been on my to-do list, and I'd love to do it now, but I can't because I can't candle until Thursday, and so it's just one of those things that I just can't mark off my list. But we've got some great videos coming your way, and I hope that you stay tuned. If you like any of the videos that you've watched, that's like very special, or if you like any of the videos really well that we are going to post, please share the video, like the video, tell everybody about the video, because we are less than 300 people away from hitting 40,000 subscribers, which is just super cool, and I'd love to hit it. My secret, which is not a secret, but my secret goal is to hit it before I go on vacation. I think that's a little ambitious, but I will try my best, and we do have some really good videos coming your way. So make sure you check those out. But thank you very much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. And safe trip. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. No more questions, a lot of comments, so thank you, everybody, for being here. As of right now, no, we will not be giving any tickets away. That was an option that we discussed, but I literally wanted the cheapest tickets that we could possibly sell for Quail Con, and that was not giving any away. That was, this is the cheapest that we can do. So I really wanted to go that route than, being able to give out 10 or 12, but people having to pay extra money. So that's why I didn't do that. But good question. So everybody, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for asking your questions. I hope that we could help tonight and help you on your journey with quail. If you've ordered eggs from us and you're waiting on your shipment, I am working as quickly and diligently as possible. And if they're not jumbo wilds, then I'm getting caught up fairly quickly. If they are jumbo wilds, I'm very sorry, and I will get them out as quickly as possible. But thank you very much for being with me. Thank you for asking your questions. And until next time, everybody, as always, stay safe. Thanks.